Everyone, thank you for joining our chant class here on this Saturday morning in the U.S. I've been away for a month now, so I'm glad to be back here with you again. This weekend all right. Is that you, Yong? It's a side of you I didn't know before. Okay. We time our travel so that we can be back here to celebrate the Vesak weekend here with you. So let me tell you a little bit about this Vesak thing here. It's our celebration of the Buddha's birthday. It's one of the biggest deals in Buddhism for us. We want to show our gratitude, our appreciation for the Buddhas to come to our world and teach us how to be healthier, to be happier, and to have more meaning in life. Because that's what he did when he came to our world. He came and he looked at how we live our life here inside our world, and he said, it could be so much better for you. And so that's what he did by figuring out a way to be just that. Okay, and he went against the conventional value systems where even though he was a part of a royal family and had everything he wanted in terms of worldly things, materialistic things, he got a lot of it, found love from the parents, love from his lovely wife, love from his adoring countrymen, and yet he's found that there's still this common, we're all sharing this common suffering, and that all of those material things and emotional things, intellectual things cannot solve. So he went about to solve that problem. So these problems, and after he successfully resolved his problems, his suffering, he taught us how to do it. And Chan is a primary vehicle that he used to train his disciples. It's the most powerful form of training to help us unfold our wisdom. All right? So actually we are very blessed to be able to practice Chan. And so people mistakenly think that meditation or Chan is simply sitting, crossing our legs, and gritting our teeth and endure the pain in the legs or the discomfort in your bodies and the turmoil in your mind. Okay? Actually, what we call Chan is a form of cultivation. And what is cultivation in Buddhism? Chan is not above it, by the way. Okay, so what is Chan cultivation? Can anyone tell me? Okay, since I know you don't know the answer, let me give you the answer. Okay. Chan cultivation has two aspects. If you will, Chan cultivation or cultivation is life itself. It's not something foreign. It's not something that's out of ordinary. It's a way of life. If you really understand, you see that Chan is just a way of life. Chan is life. All right? Chan is living. Chan is in everything we do. So that's what the Buddhists like to call it, especially Chinese, Asians like to call it cultivation, which Westerners find it to be a rather strange concept. For Westerners, when they hear cultivation, the image of farming comes to mind. And it's not, cultivation is cultivate our mind. Cultivate the good roots in our mind. Okay? Cultivation is helping the goodness in our mind mature. That's why it's called cultivation. So what does it take to cultivate? Again, when you practice Chan, that's what you're doing. You're cultivating, and the cultivation actually has two aspects to cultivation. Okay, now I'm narrowing it down for you. What are those two aspects you think? And this is why when people teach meditation, the teachers of meditation simply will say, you come to my temple, you come to my place, and you sit together and you close our eyes and or even a little bit half open or a little bit open, and then that's meditation. No, that's the mechanics of meditation. Okay, those are the skills that you acquire, you develop. But the essence of cultivation of Chan is what? You cultivate, number one, this is why people who practice Chan have more successful than others, because they are cultivating these two things better than the others. Is why you get there much faster, much higher, because you are cultivating these two things. You're accumulating these two things. What are those two? Number one is blessings. How do you cultivate blessings? You cultivate blessings by benefiting others. No excuses. Okay? When we benefit others, we are accruing blessings for ourselves, and that eventually will help our Chan skills mature. A little bit later, you understand why. Then you can the connection would be clearer for you. But basically, the premise of Chan is it rests on cultivating blessings, meaning that we benefit others. That's a mindset of Chan cultivation, is to benefit others, to bring more benefits to others. Any problems with that? Okay? What's the other aspect of cultivation? You cultivate, so to practice Chan is to cultivate, number one, blessings. Number two, what's beside blessings? There you go. The Chinese, they know it already. Wisdom. This is very fundamental. Okay? Practicing Chan is to cultivate blessings and cultivate virtue. This is what helps your Chan practice and bring it to maturity. And this is why if you think that meditation is simply breathing or mechanically reciting a mantra or something, it's not going to bring you success. The biggest success comes when you also are accruing blessings and virtue. Okay? Blessings, again, just to beat it into your head, blessing is to help others. Meaning, the more you can benefit others, the more you have blessings. There's no excuses. No, but if you benefit more others, you have more blessings. Therefore, your Chan skills will mature faster. All right? Number 2, you cultivate virtues as well. Okay? And what is virtue? This talk is inspired by, I made a visit to, in Taiwan, I went to a temple, and this great monk here, he put it on the 3 huge doors, bronze door to his temple. Each door has each door talks about virtues. Okay, so he's sort of like the traditional textbook kind of teachings he provides to his students. Okay, so he says, so in order to cultivate virtues, okay, you cultivate 3 things. What are those 3 things? Xin, do you remember? Do you remember? Didn't, huh? Would you like to check your photos? Huh? What are the 3 things about virtue cultivation? Yung, your chat GPT. Go ahead and use it. There you go, number 1. What are they?
Amitabha Master, this, I guess this is precepts, samadhi, and wisdom.
No. Shucks, he says, I told you, check your chat GPT. You subscribe to it, might as well use it. Okay, anyone else? See, XX is checking chat GPT already. Let's see, I'm giving ChatGPT a quiz. And the answer is yes. I told you, either you check the photos you took or look it up.
The 3 things.
The 3 things
was Vraja, Dharma Bharti, and liberation. Is it related to virtues?
Is that from ChatGPT?
No, from
The doors.
the doors.
Very good. Okay, and this is textbook Buddhist knowledge, fundamental knowledge. Okay, to cultivate virtues. What are the nature of virtues? There are 3 types of virtues. The virtues of the Dharma body, the virtues of liberation, and the virtues of prajna, or wisdom, or transcendental wisdom. Isn't it interesting? We think in our, in Confucian culture, in Confucian teaching virtues, whatever they teach about virtues in Confucianism, in Buddhism, it's much, much more comprehensive. Virtues have three aspects. Again, virtues of Dharma body, virtues of prajna or wisdom, and virtues of liberation. If you do those three things, then you are accruing virtues. Okay, dokie? Okay, and if you have virtues, then you know what? Your Chan practice grows by leaps and bounds as well. Similarly, if you accrue a lot of blessings, udus and udu blessings, all of a sudden, your samadhi power increases so fast as well. Yes, Wei Mountain.
Master, what does it mean when we cultivate those three virtues?
Okay, we're going to go into it. What are those three virtues? How do you cultivate these three virtues? Okay. The first thing that's most probably easiest for you to understand maybe is prajna. Virtue is prajna wisdom. Prajna wisdom is wisdom of being liberated, transcendental liberation, meaning that you put an end to your suffering. Okay? Biggest problem you have in life is we suffer and we don't know how to put an end to it. Okay? So, what the Buddhists seem to overlook, most Buddhists seem to overlook, is why having prajna is a virtuous thing. Why having prajna wisdom is virtue? Because you are a great problem solver. Prajna is very practical knowledge. It's very useful because it enables you to solve problems so much better than the average individual. Okay, we go to school, we learn, get our degrees in order to solve problems, learn how to problem solve, especially if you go into the new fields like AI. It's a brand new field, and therefore they're looking for people with great problem solving skills. Because it's not a clearly defined field yet. The requirements are still unclear to them. So what is required of us making giant strides in new discovering, new growth, is that we're able to solve problems. And by the way, this is what good companies are looking for in all of you. Problem-solving skills. Okay? Prajna is extremely useful at solving problems. That's why it's too late for me. If I were back still in the industry, I'd be looking for people with problem-solving skills. What are those people? The people with higher level of samadhis. Each samadhi level, okay, if you go to the next level, you are much wiser. Wiser, wiser, and wiser. Inside the information. Okay? That's why hopefully one day in the future, you guys should consider doing a consultation service where we consult companies, and if they have a list of candidates they'd like to hire, they could call us and say, which one has a higher level of samadhis? And for $10 a head, we will help you. What? $10? No, that's the introductory price for during Vesak only. Yes, sir.
So, Master, what actually is acquired in wisdom, meaning what do you actually understand as your samadhi increases?
What happened is that your mind is freed from its boundaries. When we hear, the analogy is this. It's like you at samadhi level 3, whatever it is, okay? It's like you at floor number 30. You can only see so far. When you go next level, okay, let's say level 4, let's say the equivalent of floor number 40, you can see much further. Okay? Including using binoculars. It's okay too. Okay? But at 30, you have obstruction from trees, from whatever, other buildings and so forth. You go up there, okay? You have fewer obstructions, if you will. So physically, that's what actually happens to you, the wiring in here. Okay? So you're able to see a lot further. And therefore, at 30, at floor number 30, you're physically bound by this. There's some physical boundaries. There's only so much you can see, so much you can conceive of. When you get to the next level, it's much higher. Therefore, you have the ability to see a lot more when necessary, when challenged. That's why. Does it help? You have to be there and then you see, oh, I can see more than before. I understand more than before. I comprehend much faster than before. Absorb so much more than before, effortlessly. Okay? That's what happened to you already. That's why. Okay? To all of you. That's why you're here. Because more and more as you develop your samadhi levels, the more your wisdom increases. Yeah?
To confirm what you just said, I have noticed since I started crossing with you, so when I watch movies, I break them down in my head. But since crossing my legs with you, I've been able to see 10 times more what I could see before without thinking about it.
That's right. So the mind is able to process a lot more information a lot faster. All right? So actually what happens to you in your mind, your thinking mind, you free yourself from those boundaries. I gave the analogy of boundary as you can only see so far here because you have obstructions of trees and other buildings, right? When you're at this floor level, when you double the height, you can see a lot more because you have fewer obstructions. Okay? That's what happens. So therefore, your problem-solving skills are much higher than before. Okay? It goes a lot further than that. When you have transcendental wisdom, the ultimate goal we're trying to get up there is that you're able to solve problems in a different dimension because your limitation is not just physical, but also your mind is a limitation for you. When you free yourself from that ultimate limitation of your mind, this is what limits the scientists, it's what limits the ordinary people, if you will. Doesn't matter how smart they are, how knowledgeable they are. If they still depend on the thinking mind, okay, that's their limitation. I assure you, I wasn't there, but my belief is that when Einstein developed his theory of relativity, okay, it's not based on the thinking mind, because there's no data that can back him up, that could verify that. It's a moment where he's able to tap into his transcendental mind and say, E equals MC au carré. That's the most plausible explanation for the world-transcending, world-leaping discoveries in mankind. Okay, so as you see, so the virtue of prajna is the ability to solve problems, the world's problems, better than before. So far, so good? All right. Next type of virtue is the virtue of liberation. Why? What is liberation? Yes? Why would you call enlightenment liberation? When you hear liberation from bondage, liberation from slavery, what it has to do with enlightenment? Just the word liberation means that you're free from what restrains you. Yes?
Liberated from birth and death.
Okay, liberated from birth and death. What else? This is what most people don't think about, because you are submerged in it day in, day out. That's why you don't see it as a need to liberate yourself anymore. Yes, Wei Mao.
Dạ, con kính thưa Thầy. Dạ, con nghĩ giải thoát là thoát ra khỏi cái tâm phiền não của mình trong cái cuộc sống của mình, mà mình có thể kiềm chế nó được, mình không có còn bị khổ đau trong mọi cái công việc, trong cái vấn đề trong cái cuộc sống của mình, mà mình có thể xử lý được nhẹ nhàng, mình không có bị nó trói buộc. Dạ, A Di Đà Phật.
Very good. Okay. Liberation from your afflictions. Yes, liberation, number one, from birth and death, because that's what really binds you right now. We've been revolving the wheel of reincarnation since beginningless time. We keep on going to keep on doing it over and over again, time and time again. That's the nature of our existence. We've been doing it for so long that we don't even think of trying to get out of birth and death. YouTube comment.
Thank you, Master. We have a message here from Diego Alfonso. Amitabha Master, liberation is to be free from delusions, from attachments, and from afflictions.
Yes. And you, sir? What's your liberation? What did you liberate yourself from?
Well, I haven't done it, but the biggest thing that I can think of is the self, which is my biggest problem.
Yourself's biggest problem?
I am the biggest problem for myself.
For yourself. Okay. Yeah, because you're still single. That's why you don't understand liberation yet. Okay. But you're right, okay? When you're single, you need to liberate from yourself. When you're married, what you need to liberate yourself from? It remains to be determined. Okay. Okay. Yes, so liberation from birth and death, which is kind of like too abstract for most people, but what's really practical for us, that we're so afflicted and we don't know how to put an end to it. Putting an end to it is to liberate ourselves from afflictions. Okay? There are billions upon gazillions of afflictions, a lot more than AI can ever solve. What is the largest model AI they have? 500 billion parameters is a reasonable number. Okay? Your afflictions are far bigger, far more. That's why AI will never be able to solve our afflictions. Never, ever. Okay? So, why is liberation a virtue? You have to think. Yeah? Why is liberation virtue?
Just very plainly that we're not afflicted, and if we're not afflicted, we're not creating problems for others.
No, really?
And
Simply put, when you're afflicted, you're drained. You keep on draining people. You keep on draining others around you. You notice that? We're like a black hole of afflictions. A black affliction, like being afflicted is like being a black hole. We keep on sucking and draining people's energy. And that's why afflicted people are unpleasant to be with. Yeah? That's why some of us choose to be single. Okay? We can't handle our own afflictions. Why would you, burden yourself with someone else's afflictions? And some people are still looking for a way to burden themselves with more afflictions. Is that clear? So, to be liberated from your afflictions is actually a virtuous thing, because you are not constantly draining others 24 hours a day. Isn't that interesting, Buddhist perspective, how damaging it is to be afflicted? That's why, for the life of me, I don't know why some people are still married. Do you know what I mean? Because some people are just too afflicted. So the only explanation for me is that there's a karmic debt there. That's why you have to repay with being drained. So don't rush into relationships, okay? When you're still single, take your time. All right. So that's a virtue. The virtue is that if we are free from afflictions, we're not draining anyone. In other words, people are draining each other constantly. All right? Number 3, the virtue of the Dharma body. Why is it a virtue, the Dharma body? You see, I've been teaching for 20 years now, almost 2 decades, and never really bothered to go into these fundamental concepts in Buddhism. But as your skills are up there, samadhi is up there, wisdom up there, now we're in a position where we should go back to the fundamentals of Buddhist teaching so that you understand why you've been developed this way, and in particular that you are able to absorb it a lot more readily than before, a lot faster than before, much easier than before. Okay, and so this helps you understand eventually understand why we give you different instructions, a process, or the Chan teachings, Chan training techniques are that way, because it helps you build up those aspects of Chan by helping you build blessings and help you build virtues. Okay? Anyway, so the third aspect of virtue is the Dharma body. It's a little bit more difficult for most of us. Okay, Dharma body refers to what you attain when your level of enlightenment is high enough. Okay, so it typically is the Mahasattvas who begin to develop their own Dharma body, and when you become a Buddha, then it's full-fledged. Okay, and so it's if you will, to still keep it mysterious for you, the Dharma body is totality, being total, and that is a virtue. Okay. It doesn't have to make sense to you, but having a Dharma body is a virtuous thing. And it's a natural thing that you will attain when your level of enlightenment gets higher and higher. All right? All right. And that's the nature of wisdom. That is, even there are certain things that you don't understand, we still need to talk to you about it, okay, to prepare you for one day when you meditate and you say, that's why. All right? It's sort of like personal pleasure of discovery and understanding that is kind of fascinating. All right, any questions and comments about anything? Vesak, marriage, relationships, whatever. Yes, ma'am, 5.
Thank you, Master. I have a question about enter samadhi, but before that, please allow me to gossip a little bit. So I remember Master mentioned Sufi dance a few times before. So Sufi dance.
What?
Sufi
dance. Oh yeah, I love that dance.
Okay,
Before for me is the tango. Until I discovered Sufi dance.
Okay, I got a chance to watch the Sufi dance when I visit Cairo, Egypt. So they just can dance over hours, and so when I watch it, they told me that's.
So you watch them for hours?
Yeah. So I was told that's the way they meditate.
Yes.
So and when they dance, they will enter some state.
Yes.
They can make connection with their God.
Yes.
So, so at that time, I'm already interested in the meditation, but I don't think it's for me. It's not make sense that way to meditation. So yeah, I just want to share the experience. Back to my question is when the different samadhi level people enter the samadhi, what's the difference?
What's the difference?
Yeah, the different samadhi level people, when they enter the samadhi, what's the difference between them? Can they stay longer in the samadhi, or their samadhi after they enter samadhi, the state is deeper, the concentration is more deeper?
You
so
mean in a Sufi dance?
No, it's not related to Sufi dance. Just about enter samadhi.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because if you ask me a Sufi dance samadhi, I would not know for the life of me.
About Sufi dance, I just want to say it's not for me. If it's a meditation, it's a way to meditation, it's not for me. I don't think it makes sense. It looks very beautiful, elegant, but
To
no.
see a guy in a skirt flowing.
Yeah, the dress is when they dance.
To me, it's
very elegant.
you don't see that very often, with the face right there on the head, and the head twists around like this, and twirling, and the skirt flowing, rising. It's like Marilyn Monroe spinning.
But talk about the meditation. Would you want to meditation like that? I don't want.
Why not?
Okay.
You have to keep an open mind.
Okay.
You have to embrace it. Don't you being judgmental, being manic as usual. But don't be so judgmental. Embrace it. That's what makes life colorful and wonderful. Because certain people have certain affinities, certain connections. Therefore, that's how they enter the world of samadhi. You have different types of blessings, Mahayana blessings. That's why you're drawn to Mahayana Chan practices. But all these people, their blessings are different, okay? And therefore they enter this door of samadhi development differently. It's a good point. It's a great starting point. You don't need to judge them. You don't need to say, I approve of this, I don't approve of that, okay? I think it's ridiculous and it's not good enough for me. No, you're being judgmental. No need for that. How about, that's not virtuous, by the way, okay? The part of the virtue of Dharma body is what? Is to embrace all. Don't need to reject. The Dharma body is everything. So the more complete the Dharma body, the less you will reject. The reason why people still reject, okay, is because the Dharma body is either zero or not complete yet. They say, no, this is alien to me, therefore it's not for me. Got that? And that rejection, in other words, is not a virtuous thing. Just learn to embrace it. Okay? And so what others have access to, for example, I doubt that there's much Chan activities in those countries, that side of the world. Okay, and therefore, that's what they have to help them experience the bliss of samadhi through a dance. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing for them. Okay, and eventually, as they accrue more blessings, they will find more effective ways to enter that samadhi, and they can get to deeper levels of samadhis. Okay, so instead of judging them, encourage them. Okay, this is not just for you, but for you, for future teachers. You should look at it as an opportunity. Rejoice on the fact that they're able to enjoy, to take advantage from the samadhi they enter. It's a very good thing for you, by the way. When every time you enter samadhi, it does wonders through your body. It cleanses your body. So it's a very good thing for you physically. Okay, cleanses your mind as well. Okay, but it also has caveats, because if you don't have the proper principles, like here in Buddhism, okay, you could develop erroneous orientation in your mind that will pull you away from the proper reception, the proper wisdom. And that's a danger in those practices. That's all that I'd be worried about. But I would not pass judgment on them. That's all you got. Okay? Yes, sir.
Master, I think it may be helpful for her and other people to understand, and I take this from martial arts, that when you do dangerous activities like that, you can't think, or you have to reduce your thinking in order to do something that strenuous and dangerous. There's no time for thinking, and it's in that state people experience a lot of joy. Cultivating that ability. Exactly.
By the way, it is so true. For example, not just martial arts or dancing, okay? But what fascinates me is rock climbing without safety nets and without anything. To me, that's the most fascinating thing I would never dare do. Okay? Because most of these guys, by the way, they die. They fall. Eventually will die. Almost all of them, highest level, they all die. It's a low level still around to keep talking about it and find more suckers. Okay? But you're right. That's why I find it fascinating, because such people, I look at these people, the famous ones, the real, I forgot the names already, because they're dead already anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the point is that these world-known, world-renowned rock climbers, free rock climber, whatever they call, what did they call those people? Free bass, free solo, whatever. And what fascinated me was, what is a level of wisdom? What is a level of samadhi? Excuse me. Okay? Yes, the one common denominator that's kind of interesting to me when I look at these people, look at the documentaries on these people, is that they share one common trait, which is they all have, begins with a D. Depression. They all are depressed. deep depression. And therefore, when they put themselves in the state of danger there, climbing there, if you make the wrong move, you die, okay? It helps them escape their depression. And they actually enjoy the bliss from that total concentration, okay? So it's fascinating process that's part of Chan as well. Yeah, similarly, in the Chan world, in the Chinese, they teach them, Asian, they teach them when you meditate, you write the word death on your eyelid, Su, okay? Okay, so that's all they contemplate. That's another Dharma door that the Chinese use to meditate. Okay, they meditate, and they say every time I close my eyes, my eyelids would reveal the word death. Okay, they contemplate on that. The end. Death is the end, period. No more. Okay, nothing else. Okay, and so when you do the rock climbing there, it's about you make one move, 1 second, 1 split second, you die. And so you're right. So when you're in that state of danger, you're able to naturally concentrate. Yes, and that's why they have this high of climbing. And then because when they get to, this is why they all died, is once they get that high and they said, I want to feel better. Because you know what? What they don't realize, these poor people, is that they escape their depression by climbing, by rock climbing, okay? Freebasing, okay? And then, guess what? The next level of depression demon comes around. And they depress again. So they need to get out of it. So they need to what? Increase the level of danger. That's why they eventually kill themselves. That's what the demon of depression want in the first place, is to kill them. But it's entertaining to the rest of the world. Yes, sir, in the back.
Master.
Mm-hmm.
Amitabha Master, so do those people develop their samadhi as well? Or
Yes, yes. It's a very natural way for them to develop samadhis. And actually, interestingly, as they increase the level of danger, that's how they increase their samadhi levels. Eventually have to reach the peak of their abilities. That's when they fall off and they die. And there you have, as compared to someone who complains about someone dancing, come on, that's a pretty good thing to do, relatively speaking, you know? All right. And finally for today, since we have some interesting people here, is one thing though that I feel that in the context of today's talk, that I feel that I wonder about this for a long time. Why is that in my generation, we have a lot of great men, okay, and the younger generations now, they're a lot more sheltered, okay. Their parents are much better off, and therefore they are soft, they're weak, okay. For example, my generation and similar generations, the great men are the ones who were born into families with difficult circumstances. Okay, and because of that, these young people grew up and understood they have the drive to push themselves and to persevere. Okay, Why do I talk about it? Because, for example, my generation and these old women back there, they struggle a lot financially, okay? And they made sacrifices for their children because the culture calls for that. Not just simply motherly instincts, but that's part of the culture, okay? And therefore, that's virtue right there, okay? And I feel that for us parents, adults nowadays, we cannot ignore that. We should not be overprotective to our children, the younger generation. They should experience difficulties, otherwise they're soft, they're weak. They only think of enjoying themselves, okay? Whereas in my generation, prior generations, where the family struggle a lot more, they have this example in front of them where their parents, the grandparents, had to make so many sacrifices. And because of that, they have this drive to rise and to do better. The only drawback with that is that they don't have the proper guidance, okay? Success is cannot be measured in material things, in fame and profit. But success is measured in wisdom, in virtue. Okay? And that's a very important thing. I hope that you will instill in the younger generations, just very much like I'm trying to instill this in you. Okay? All right. Thank you all for coming today. Let's go have some lunch.